Once upon a time, there was a nation where there were no worries or struggles named Uttaranadu. In that nation, there was a king named Karthikeyan. He had all the pleasures and joy that a man could ever have in life. But one day, he doubted his own mind and consciousness, and he felt that he was not really happy. So he called his minister and said this to him.
Minister, everybody that lives in our nation is very happy, and because of their happiness, I am also overfilled with joy. But last night I was worried and I had a doubtful thought. What is it, my king? Please tell me what your doubt was. Well, to be honest with you, all I wanted to know was, if there is a man in our nation that he is happier than me, and if he is happier than me, I want to know how and why he has achieved it. My king, that is absolutely foolish. Not only in this nation, even in the whole world, I do not think there is any other man as happy as you are. You are only saying this because of your concern for me. But I do not accept this answer, Minister. My king, you have all the wealth there is to have in this world. And you also have this whole nation under your rule. And within a blink of a thought, you have several servants that will serve you at any given time. With all this wealth, how could you possibly not be the happiest man on earth? Yes, Minister, you are right. I am a very happy man. But I want to know if there is another man that is happier than me in my nation. That is what I am thinking about. I have an idea, my king. If you disguise yourself and go and analyze your own nation as a common man, you will soon realize that there is no man that can possibly be as happy as you are. That is a splendid idea. I shall immediately disguise myself and go and live amongst the common people in my nation.
The king, being very pleased with this idea, decides to wear a disguise and go and see if there is any other man that is happier than him. He then leaves his palace and goes to the village of the civilians. As soon as he enters the village, he hears a beautiful song echoing from the inside of a house. The king hears this and says like this.
What a beautiful song! I have never heard such a melodious tune in my life. I want to see who is behind this beautiful sound.
The king Karthikeyan goes near the house and he peeps through the window. He sees a young man playing the flute in the most harmonious way that he has ever heard. As soon as he sees this young man come on, the king thinks to himself like this.
I do not know who this young man is. He seems to be a very poor individual, but he seems to be more carefree than I am. And he plays the flute with the utmost serenity and bliss. No matter how happy I am, I do not know if I will be capable of doing this. That means he must be the happiest man. I shall try to find out what is the secret to his happiness.
The king knocks on the door of the house. The young man stops playing the flute and goes to open the door. As soon as he opens the door, he does not realize that the man that is in front of his house is a king. He then says to him,
Who are you? Please, you are welcome to my house.
As soon as the king enters the house, he is immediately able to notice the poverty that the young man is going through. Unable to comprehend why a person living in such poor conditions could be happy at a very young age, the king asks the young man,
Oh, young man, I am a seller. I was on my way when I heard your beautiful flute music and I loved it so much. Okay, fine. What is your name?
Sir, my name is Anandan. I am a clay pot maker. I make clay pots and make it to sale.
Fine. Nice to meet you. You seem like a very happy person. Is there anything in your life that you are worried or sad about? Would you be willing to share that with me?
I do not have any troubles or hardships, sir. I wake up every day in the morning and go to the village. As soon as I reach there, I sell my clay pots and earn a little bit of money that I can. And with that money, I buy what is necessary for my food, clothing and shelter, and when I come back home, I spend the rest of my day playing this flute and I fall asleep. With this life that I live, no one depends on me and even I don't. Then how can I possibly be sad or face any hardships?
After listening to what Anandan had to say, the king finally understood the truth. He then goes back to his palace and summons his minister. He tells his minister that,
Minister, I disguised myself and went to the village of the civilians. On my way, I heard a beautiful flute sound. The poor young man who was playing the flute was very happy. I went to his house and I met that person. The poor young man is much happier than I am. but he does not possess any kind of wealth whatsoever. He is just a simple clay pot maker. Does this mean that you have lied to me, minister? My king, I would never lie to you. That man is only happy temporarily, whereas you will be happy forever. That man is only going to be happy as long as his clay pot will sell. The minute he does not make money from his clay pot sales, he will then face the hardships that any man would go through, and he will lose his happiness. If you do not trust me, I would suggest you restrict all clay pot sales in our nation for a certain period and see what he goes through. Then you will realize what I meant, my king. You are right, minister. The only way that man was able to survive in this village because of the money that he would make from selling clay pots. I command you to immediately stop and restrict all the sealings of clay pots in our nation.
After listening to the command of the king, the minister goes ahead and bans all the clay pot sellings in the nation. As soon as the sellings of clay pot was banned, Anandan was clueless on what to do. He then leaves his house and goes on his street, and he sees an old man chopping down trees. He then goes to the old man and asks him like this.
Why are you struggling to cut down these huge trees at this age? Please take some rest. I shall cut these trees for you myself.
Oh God, why, young man? Why would you want to do this for me? What would you benefit from cutting trees for me?
I will not cut your trees for nothing. I shall cut your trees as much as you want, and after I cut your trees, I would request you to give me the amount you think.
Okay then. These days I am unable to find labor to help me with my work. Therefore, I was forced to cut down these wooden logs by myself. But since you have asked me for this task, I will be more than willing to pay you for cutting my wooden logs.
From that day, Anandan started to go all around the village and cut wooden logs for anybody who required that particular labor. He would then earn money from that labor and use it to cook for himself and play his flute in his house happily. At this situation, the king Karthikeyan calls his minister and tells him like this.
Minister, is the restrictions of the sale of clay pots effective in our nation? Is it being followed properly? Yes, my king. Come on, nobody in our nation is buying clay pots anymore. Even Anandan also cannot buy or sell his clay pots, as it has been stopped by us. Fine, minister. I want to see how Anandan is living his life. Since we have completely stopped his income source, I believe that he would be in a great sorrow as he has no way to survive, and he will not be happy anymore, my king. Okay, and I shall go and disguise myself to meet and then right away. Until then, I shall not believe your words.
The king immediately disguises himself and leaves the palace to visit the village. As he walks towards Anandan's house, he is still able to hear that beautiful flute music. Surprised by how Anandan is still playing the flute, the king enters his house and asks him,
Hi, Anandan. How are you doing? I was walking this way and I thought of meeting you.
Thank you for your concern. I am doing great. How are you doing, sir?
I'm fine, Anandan. Since they have banned the selling of clay pots in our nation, hence I wanted to know how you are coping with the situation, how you are living your life.
That is very true, sir. There was a minor loss. But right now, I am cutting down wooden logs for people all over the village, and that is how I make my money.
The king finally realized the secret to his happiness is his hard work and survival instinct. He then goes back to his palace and summons his minister to tell him like this.
Minister, I just met that poor man Anandan. He is still very happy. He is going all over his village and cutting wooden logs to make money. He does not seem worried or sad in any way. He seems more happier than I am, and he still plays the flute beautifully. This means that you have lied to me again. Am I right? You are mistaken, my king. The reason why he is very happy is because he is able to find easy ways to make a living. This gives him peace and calm in his life. But if we give him the job of being a king's god, this will deprive him of all the happiness that he can have. You can try this idea, my king. So, you want me to test them even more? Fine, let it be. Call up our gods, come up, and make him work in our palace as a king's god.
Abiding by the king's orders, the next day morning, the soldiers of the king go over to Anandan's house and say,
Hey Anandan, you are very lucky man. The king has ordered you to join the king's guard. So now you have to leave immediately. Oh God, I do not want to join the king's guard as of now. I have a job that makes me money to survive. I am not interested in joining the king's guard. Are you refusing the quiz? Refusing the king's order is disrespecting the king himself. If you refuse the king's order, we would have to give you a death penalty. So now you have to come with us.
No matter how many times Anandan refused, the soldiers grabbed him and took him all the way to the king's palace and made him a king's god. In this job, Anandan would have nothing but a basic monthly salary with no other amenities.
This is such an unfortunate situation. When I would cut the wooden logs, I could make the money every day. But in this job, the only way I can make money is through my salary that only makes once in a month. And I am about to stand here all the time.
Anandan is very distressed because of the job that he is in. Unable to get a daily salary, and Anandan ponders on what he could do to change the situation. He then looks at his sword and gets an idea. He immediately goes to a seller and says to him,
Sir, I would request you to keep my sword as collateral so that I can take a loan from you. As soon as the month ends, I receive my salary, I shall pay you back all the money with the interest.
If you do not come back and give me the money, I will immediately sell this sword and get my money back. Okay?
Now, Anandan uses the money that he borrowed to buy food for his daily needs. And knowing that if the guards see him without a sword in his hand, he would be in trouble, he goes to a carpenter and gets a fake wooden sword. The king disguises himself again to see how Anandan is living his life, whether happy or sad. As he goes near his house, he hears the beautiful flute music again. The king thinks like this.
Oh God, how is Anandan is so happy all the time? I'm still not able to understand how he can possibly be happy.
The king then goes back to his palace and summons the minister. He then says to him,
Minister, I'm still not able to understand how happy Anandan is. When he was selling clay pots and when we took it off from him, he was still a happy man. And when he was cutting wooden logs for people around the village, we took it from him and he was still happy. Now he is working for us as a king's god and he remains happy. What I do not understand is how a man who has nothing is happier than myself, a man who has everything. My king, I think the reason he is happy is because he has done nothing wrong. Or maybe he is happy because he thinks he has not done anything that is wrong. Yes, what you said makes sense because whenever I would give a death penalty to criminals, I would feel absolutely guilty that I did something wrong. The whole day, I would not be able to have a peace of mind because of it. That is why I am saying, my king, if we can make Anandan sentence and another man to death, that will make Anandan to lose his peace of mind and happiness too. Fine. What I want you to do is arrange a scenario where he would sentence a man to death by a guillotine and then he would feel pain and we shall see if he can still be a happy person.
Anandan gets assigned as a guard in the death penalty arraignment of the palace. In that place, there is a huge guillotine which will chop another man's head off. That is her god right beside the guillotine and a group of civilians that are here to watch the decapitation of the criminal. The guard standing right beside the guillotine bravely says to Anandan,
The king has given this man the death sentence, so you would have to take out your sword and chop this criminal's head off.
Anandan is now perplexed by this situation. He understands that he would not be able to chop the criminal's head off because what he has in his hand is a fake wooden knife. But he realizes that if he tells the situation to the god, that he himself would be executed. So Anandan tells the god,
I do not know what the crime he has committed. Why are you making me do this? Why can't you tell someone else to do this? Why do you care about what crime he has committed? This is the king's order and you must follow it. So stop talking back to me and chop his head off.
Anandan is now trapped by this situation. He does not really know what to do. He then joins his hand together and he acts like he is praying to God. He tells like this,
Dear God, I am about to commit a horrendous act of killing another man. If in this case man is innocent, I would request you to please change my sword into a wooden sword so that this man does not have to die in vain.
As soon as Anandan took out his sword, the whole crowd got to see that the sword is a wooden sword. Everyone is shocked around him, including the soldier. The soldier then goes to the king and tells him everything that had occurred until then. The king is now both shocked and confused that what had happened. He then summons Anandan to the palace and tells him like this.
Anandan, please tell me what happened. How did your sword turn into a wooden sword?
Anandan now realizes that the king is none other than the man that he saw in his house who was wearing a disguise. Anandan decides to tell everything that had occurred till then to the king. The king says to Anandan like this.
So, basically you have set your sword as collateral for a loan. But, how are you still able to be happy? No matter how many tests I throw to you, how can I get that happiness and why can't I have it right now?
My king, my happiness exists because of the hard work that I do on a daily basis. Every day morning, I wake up and I work hard on whatever job that I do. And from that money that I make by doing my job, I make sure that I have sufficient food. And when it is night, I forget all the tensions and the hard work that I did during the day. And I play my flute with joy. And this is my regular basis for all the days. So that king, I am always feels happy.
So now I understand why you are always happy. You do not attain happiness from wealth or luxury. You attain happiness because no matter what you do in the world for work, you keep that aside when you go home. And that gives you a peace of mind and happiness. Now you do not have to work as a king's god. You can go back to your village and do any work that you are interested in doing.
The king now realizes how it is to be happy and in peace. He gives a huge sum of money to Anandan and sends him back to the village. From that day onwards, the king would leave out all his responsibilities and his work-related problems outside of the palace when he slept at night. This finally gives him peace.
If you like this story, do like it, share it. For more news stories, please subscribe our New Stories Book English YouTube channel.